Life does not get easier. You get stronger. Imagine a version of you who does not fall apart under pressure. Someone who can take failure and turn it into fuel. Someone who wakes up every single morning with the quiet confidence to handle whatever the day brings. What if I told you that version of yourself is not some distant fantasy, and it is not reserved for a lucky few who were born with some special gift? It starts with one thing: your mindset. The way you think determines the way you live. And when you learn to master your mind, you unlock the ability to master your life. In this audiobook, we are going to walk through 20 powerful principles that will completely reshape how you approach challenges, manage your emotions, and build the kind of unshakable inner strength that holds up even when things get really hard. These principles are your roadmap to real mental toughness, not the kind that just survives hard times, but the kind that actually grows because of them. Before we get into it, if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell right now. We put out content like this regularly, the kind that actually shifts how you think and how you show up. Let us get started. Chapter 1. Reprogram your mindset. Your mindset shapes your reality. That is not just something that sounds good on a motivational poster. It is one of the most well-supported truths about human potential. Your mindset acts like a lens through which you see the entire world. It shapes how you respond to challenges, how you make decisions, and ultimately how your life unfolds. If your mindset is rooted in fear, self-doubt, or negativity, it will hold you back no matter how many good opportunities come your way. But a positive, empowered mindset can open doors you genuinely never thought possible. The first step is identifying your limiting beliefs, those deeply ingrained thoughts and assumptions that quietly constrain everything you do. For example, if you have always believed, "I'm just not good at public speaking," that belief might cause you to avoid opportunities that require it, stalling your personal and professional growth without you even realizing it. Identifying those beliefs takes honest self-reflection. Ask yourself, what thoughts are holding me back right now? Where did these beliefs actually come from? Are they based in real facts, or are they just assumptions I absorbed somewhere along the way? Once you have named them, you challenge them and replace them with something better. This is where reprogramming your subconscious really matters. Your subconscious is like your operating system, running on autopilot based on everything it has absorbed from your upbringing, your environment, and your past experiences. And many of those programs were installed without your conscious awareness or permission. Techniques like positive affirmations, visualization, and consistent self-reflection can help rewire your brain over time. Instead of, "I can't do this," train yourself to say, "I am capable of learning and achieving this." Instead of fixating on what could go wrong, picture what success actually looks and feels like, in vivid detail. Science has shown that the brain cannot easily distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one, which means repeated visualization can genuinely help break old patterns of fear and self-doubt. Gratitude is another powerful tool here. When you regularly focus on what you have rather than what you lack, You create a positive feedback loop in your brain that changes how you process the world. Writing down just 3 things you are grateful for each day may sound almost too simple, but over time, it genuinely trains your mind to look for the positive. Reprogramming your mindset is not an overnight thing. There will be moments when old patterns resurface, and that is completely okay. What matters is that each time you redirect your thoughts consciously, you strengthen the new pathways in your brain until the empowered mindset becomes your default instead of the exception. Chapter 2. Develop an unshakable belief in yourself. Self-belief is the cornerstone of mental strength. Without it, even the most talented people can fall apart when things get hard. But with it, you unlock the ability to push through doubt, grab opportunities, and keep going when you feel like quitting. The good news is that self-belief is not something you are simply born with or without. It is a skill, and like every skill, it can be built deliberately. It starts with understanding your own worth. Society ties self-worth to external achievements, your job title, your income, what other people think of you. While those things matter, they should not define how you value yourself at your core. You are worthy simply because you exist. Internalizing that truth is the real foundation. One of the most effective ways to build belief is through small, consistent wins. Every time you follow through on a commitment to yourself, no matter how minor, you send a message to your own brain that you are someone who shows up. Over time, those small moments stack up into something powerful. It also helps to reframe how you see your past failures. Instead of viewing them as evidence that you are not enough, look at them as evidence that you have tried. Every setback carries a lesson. The people with the strongest self-belief are not the ones who never fail. They are the ones who extract something useful from failure and keep moving. Pay close attention to how you talk to yourself too. Negative self-talk erodes confidence over time. When you catch those thoughts, replace them deliberately. It feels a little awkward at first. Do it anyway. Repetition genuinely rewires your subconscious. And remember, self-belief does not mean you never doubt yourself. It means you choose to keep going in spite of the doubt. Treat yourself with the same patience and kindness you would offer a close friend, and watch how much easier it becomes to move forward. Chapter 3. Reframe negativity into fuel for growth. Negativity is a part of life. There is no version of an ambitious, fully lived life that does not include challenges, setbacks, and moments of genuine frustration. What separates people who thrive from those who stay stuck is not the absence of negativity, it is what they do with it. The key skill here is reframing, and it starts with one foundational truth: your perspective shapes your experience. The same event can look completely different depending on how you interpret it. Losing a job can feel like a devastating blow, or it can feel like an opening to something better. The situation itself does not change. The story you tell yourself about it does. When something goes wrong, pay attention to your thoughts. Are you catastrophizing, jumping to blame, assuming the worst? Recognizing those patterns is the first step to interrupting them before they spiral. Then ask yourself honestly, Is this thought based in actual evidence, or is it an emotional reaction dressed up as logic? Look for the opportunity inside the difficulty. Many of the most successful people you have ever heard of point directly to their hardest seasons as the moments that taught them the most. Begin to see every challenge as a classroom and every difficulty as a teacher. That mindset genuinely changes what you are able to extract from a painful experience. Journaling helps enormously here. When something hard happens, write it out. Describe what happened, how it made you feel, and what you can take from it. The act of putting it on paper often turns chaos into clarity. And be patient with yourself through this process. Reframing is a skill. It takes repetition. Every time you successfully shift your perspective on a hard experience, you strengthen your ability to do it faster the next time. Chapter 4. Master the art of self-discipline. Talent without discipline is potential that never gets realized. Motivation without discipline is energy that comes and goes. Self-discipline is what actually bridges the gap between where you are and where you want to be. And here is the thing. Discipline is not about making your life miserable. It is about aligning your daily actions with your real values and long-term goals so that you are consistently moving in a direction that actually means something to you. It starts with clarity. You cannot be disciplined about everything, so you have to choose your priorities. What truly matters to you right now? What are you actually working toward? Define your vision and break it into specific steps. When each action feels connected to a larger purpose, staying disciplined becomes much easier. One of the biggest obstacles to discipline is procrastination, and procrastination almost always comes from some form of fear. Fear of failure, fear of discomfort, fear of the unknown. The antidote is not willpower, it is momentum. Start smaller than you think you need to. Commit to just 10 minutes. The hardest part is almost always beginning. And once you start, momentum naturally carries you forward. Your environment matters more than most people realize. If your surroundings are full of distractions and easy temptations, discipline becomes an uphill battle every day. Set yourself up to win by designing your space intentionally. Put the phone in another room. Remove the junk food. Reduce the friction that makes it easy to slip up. Build habits rather than relying on willpower. Willpower is a limited resource, and it will run out on you. Habits run on autopilot. When positive behaviors become automatic through repetition, staying on track stops requiring constant mental effort. And when you fall short, because you will sometimes, respond with self-compassion, not harsh criticism. Discipline is not about perfection. It is about persistence. What matters is not whether you stumble, but whether you get back up and recommit. Chapter 5. Build mental resilience. Life is unpredictable. Setbacks are not the exception. They are part of the deal. The question is never really whether hard things will happen. The question is who you will be when they do. Mental resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity, stay grounded when things get difficult, and keep moving forward even when the path is not clear. It is not about being unaffected by hardship. It is about developing the capacity to process difficulty and come out stronger on the other side. It starts with perspective. Resilient people do not pretend challenges do not exist. They simply choose to view them as a natural part of growth, rather than as evidence that something is fundamentally broken. When a setback hits, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" try asking, "What can I learn here, and how can this make me stronger?" Self-awareness is a cornerstone of resilience. When adversity strikes, take a moment to actually pause and name what you are feeling. Frustrated, overwhelmed, disappointed. Naming emotions gives you a little distance from them, which makes it easier to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Physical and emotional self-care directly impacts your resilience more than most people acknowledge. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and mindfulness practices are not optional extras. They are the foundation your mental strength is built on. When you neglect your body and emotional health, your capacity to handle difficulty drops significantly. Having a solid support network matters enormously too. Resilience does not grow in isolation. Having people you trust, friends, family, a mentor, a therapist, gives you somewhere to turn when things feel too heavy to carry alone. And action builds resilience. When challenges hit, break them down into smaller, manageable pieces. Focus on what you can actually control and take one concrete step forward. Even a small step builds a sense of agency, and agency is one of the most important ingredients in bouncing back. Chapter 6. Master Emotional Control. Emotions are powerful. They can drive you to achieve incredible things. They can also overwhelm you completely and leave you frozen when you need to move most. Mastering emotional control is not about suppressing your feelings or becoming emotionally detached. It is about learning to recognize, understand, and manage your emotions so they work for you instead of against you. The first step is emotional awareness. Pay real attention to what you are actually feeling and why. Emotions like anger, frustration, or sadness almost always have a root cause, an unmet need, an unresolved situation, something that genuinely matters to you. When you identify that root cause, you can address it thoughtfully instead of just reacting in the moment. When a strong emotion hits, practice pausing before you respond. Your brain's fight-or-flight response can take over quickly, and the decisions made from that activated state are rarely your best ones. Simple techniques like slow, deep breathing or quietly counting to 10 can create just enough space between the feeling and the response for your rational mind to step back in. Reframing your perspective is another valuable tool here. Emotions are often tied to how you interpret events, not the events themselves. If someone cuts you off in traffic, you can choose to interpret it as disrespect, or you can consider that they might be rushing to an emergency. Changing the interpretation genuinely changes the emotional experience. Mindfulness is essential. When you practice staying present without judgment, you become more aware of your emotional state in real time. You notice anxiety building before it takes over. You notice irritation rising before it becomes an outburst. That awareness creates choice. Get to know your triggers too. Identify the specific situations, people, or topics that consistently provoke strong reactions in you. When you know what your triggers are, you can prepare for them, which dramatically reduces the chances of being caught off guard by your own emotions. And treat yourself with compassion when your emotions do get the better of you. It happens to everyone. What matters is that you acknowledge it, learn from it, and come back to center. Chapter 7. The Disciplined Life. Becoming Unstoppable. Discipline is the bridge between goals and actual achievement. Talent and ambition matter, but without consistency and intentionality, they do not amount to much in the real world. Living a disciplined life means aligning what you do every single day with what you actually want your life to look like, making choices on purpose, and staying committed to what genuinely matters to you. The foundation is a clear sense of purpose. Without a real direction, discipline has nothing meaningful to attach to. Spend time defining what success actually looks like for you, not in someone else's terms, but yours. Break those big aspirations into specific, actionable steps. When you can clearly see the connection between your daily habits and your larger goals, showing up becomes a whole lot easier. Create routines that support your vision. Discipline thrives on consistency because routine eliminates the need to make the same decisions over and over again. When healthy behaviors become automatic, built into your schedule and your environment, staying on track stops draining your mental energy. Learn to say no. In a world absolutely full of distractions and competing demands, your attention is one of your most valuable resources. Protecting it means deliberately choosing what gets access to it and what does not. Every time you say yes to something that does not align with your goals, you are effectively saying no to something that does. Stay flexible. True discipline is not rigid adherence to a plan no matter what. It is staying committed to your goals while being willing to adapt your approach when necessary. Life will not always cooperate with your schedule, and being able to adjust without giving up entirely is a real and important skill. When you fall short, and every disciplined person does at some point, practice self-compassion rather than self-criticism. Beating yourself up does not get you back on track. Kindness toward yourself does. Celebrate your progress, reinforce the wins, and recommit with patience. Chapter 8. Manage stress effectively. Stress is not going away. It is woven into the fabric of an active, engaged life. The goal is not to eliminate it entirely. It is to learn how to navigate it without letting it run you, and even to use it as a signal that something meaningful is at stake. The first step is understanding what stress actually is. It is your body's natural response to perceived challenges or threats. Some stress is genuinely useful. It sharpens focus and motivates action. Chronic, unmanaged stress is what causes real problems. Recognizing early signs like irritability, difficulty concentrating, or persistent fatigue lets you address it before it spirals out of control. Mindfulness is one of the most effective tools available for managing stress. When you focus your attention on the present moment, rather than replaying the past or dreading the future, you interrupt the stress cycle. Simple practices like slow, deep breathing or 5 minutes of meditation can calm your nervous system and give you a noticeably clearer head. Time management reduces a lot of the anxiety that comes from feeling overwhelmed. When your task list feels like a wall, break it down. Prioritize based on what is actually urgent and important. Use whatever system genuinely works for you. A simple to-do list, time blocking on your calendar, a productivity app, to create structure and reduce the mental load of trying to hold everything in your head. Your physical health is directly connected to stress resilience. Regular exercise releases endorphins that improve your mood. Balanced nutrition gives your body the energy it needs to cope. And sleep, often the first thing to go when life gets stressful, is one of the most powerful tools you have for maintaining your ability to handle whatever is coming next. Protecting your sleep is protecting your mental strength. And build a support system you can actually lean on. Talking to someone you trust about what you are carrying can dramatically reduce its weight. If stress becomes overwhelming, reaching out to a therapist or counselor is not a sign of weakness. It is a genuinely smart move. Chapter 9. Build resilience through failure. Failure is one of the most powerful teachers you will ever encounter. That might sound like something people say to make themselves feel better, but the track records of genuinely successful people back it up consistently. Almost without exception, the people who achieve the most have also failed the most. The difference is how they relate to it. Most people treat failure as a verdict, as evidence that they are not cut out for something. But failure is actually just information. It tells you what did not work this time, in these conditions, with this approach. That information is genuinely valuable if you are willing to sit with it rather than run from it. Start by allowing yourself to actually process the emotion. It is natural to feel disappointed, embarrassed, or frustrated after a real failure. Those feelings are valid. Do not bury them. Journal about it. Talk to someone you trust, or simply give yourself some time. But do not live there permanently. Then analyze what actually happened. Objectively, not to assign blame, but to uncover real insight. What went wrong? What was in your control? What was not? What would you do differently now that you know what you know? That kind of honest analysis turns a painful experience into a genuine education. Cultivate a growth mindset throughout this process. When you truly believe your abilities are not fixed, that you can develop them through effort and learning, failure stops feeling like a dead end and starts feeling like a detour. The difference between "I'm not capable of this" and "I haven't figured this out yet" is enormous. Practice self-compassion when you fall short. Harsh self-criticism after failure makes you less likely to try again, not more. Treat yourself the way you would treat a friend going through the same thing. And then take action. Identify what you have learned. Set a new direction based on that insight, and take one concrete step forward. Every time you rise after a fall, you are building something real inside yourself. Chapter 10. Foster a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the foundational belief that your abilities, your intelligence, and your character can all be developed through effort, learning, and persistence. It stands in direct contrast to a fixed mindset, the belief that your qualities are basically set in stone from birth. Fostering a growth mindset is the mental shift that makes everything else in this audiobook possible. Without it, setbacks feel like verdicts. With it, they feel like lessons. Start with real self-awareness. How do you currently respond when things get hard? Do you avoid challenges because they make you feel less capable? Do you see effort as a sign that you lack natural talent? Recognizing those patterns is the first step to genuinely shifting them. Lean into challenges rather than avoiding them. The discomfort of something new and difficult is a signal that growth is actually happening. Every time you step outside your comfort zone, you are expanding what you are capable of. That is not a threat to your identity. It is the whole point. Actively seek out feedback and treat it as a resource. People with fixed mindsets avoid feedback because it feels like criticism of who they are. People with growth mindsets look for it because they see it as information about how to get better. Embrace the word yet. Catch yourself thinking, "I can't do this," and add one word, "I can't do this yet." That tiny addition opens a door. It shifts the framing from a fixed judgment to an ongoing process, and it genuinely works over time. Celebrate effort over outcome. When you recognize and reward yourself for showing up, for putting in the work, for trying, regardless of the immediate result, you reinforce the actual behaviors that lead to improvement, and surround yourself with people and content that challenge you to keep growing. Be intentional about it. Chapter 11. Align your actions with your purpose. Living a purposeful life is not just philosophically satisfying, it is one of the most practical foundations for real mental strength. Purpose gives you direction when things get confusing, motivation when things get hard, and resilience when things feel pointless. But having a vague sense of purpose is not enough. To actually experience its power, your daily actions need to genuinely reflect it. Start by getting clear on what your purpose actually is. Ask yourself the deeper questions. What drives you? What kind of impact do you want to have? What would you regret not having pursued? Your purpose does not need to be dramatic or world-changing. It just needs to resonate with you genuinely and personally. Write it down as clearly as you can. Once you have named it, break it into actionable goals. Purpose without structure can feel overwhelming and abstract. Specific goals with timelines and measurable outcomes make it tangible and give your discipline something real to work with. Build habits and routines that consistently reflect your purpose. If your purpose is connected to health, your daily routine should show that. If it is connected to creativity or service or learning, your schedule should reflect those priorities. Learn to say no to things that pull you away from what genuinely matters. Not every opportunity or request is worth your limited time and energy. The clearer you are on your purpose, the easier these decisions become over time. Check in with yourself regularly. Reflect on whether your daily actions are actually moving you toward the life you want. Adjust when they are not. Purpose is not a static thing. It can evolve as you grow, and that is completely okay. Chapter 12. Commit to lifelong learning. The moment you stop growing, you start going backward. Not dramatically or visibly right away, just slowly and quietly, one missed opportunity at a time. In a world that keeps changing faster every year, the commitment to lifelong learning is one of the most practical decisions you can make for yourself. Lifelong learning is not primarily about formal education, though that can be part of it. It is about cultivating a genuine curiosity that stays with you through every stage of your life and does not require a classroom to thrive. Set clear learning goals, just like you set goals for anything else that matters to you. What do you want to understand better? What skills do you want to develop? Being specific about where you want to grow makes it far more likely that you will actually do something about it. Make reading a daily habit. Even 15 minutes a day adds up to a remarkable amount of knowledge and perspective over the course of a year. Diversify what you read, topics that interest you, but also topics that genuinely challenge you to think differently. Take full advantage of the incredible learning resources available today. Online courses, podcasts, YouTube, webinars. The access to world-class teachers and thinkers has never been greater in human history. Use it intentionally. Learn from experience too, not just from books and courses. Volunteer for new challenges. Travel when you can. Engage with people who see the world differently than you do. These real-world experiences teach things that structured content often simply cannot. Reflect on what you are learning, writing about how a new idea connects to your life, or how it challenges something you previously believed, turns information into actual wisdom. Understanding something intellectually is very different from internalizing it deeply enough to change how you live. Chapter 13. Visualize your success. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It is a genuinely powerful mental technique used by elite athletes, top entrepreneurs, and high performers across virtually every field. When done consistently and with real emotional engagement, it primes your brain for success in ways that are both measurable and real. The first step is clarity. You cannot visualize your way to a vague goal. Define exactly what success looks like, specifically, concretely, and in detail. Not, I want to be successful, but I want to close my first major client deal within 6 months. Or, I want to run a half marathon by the end of the year. The more precisely you can describe it, the more effectively you can visualize it. Once your goal is clear, close your eyes and picture yourself living it. Engage all your senses. What do you see? What do you hear? What does it feel like in your body when you get there? The more detail you bring to the mental image, the more real it becomes to your brain, and the more confident you naturally feel approaching it in real life. Emotional engagement is absolutely key here. Do not just picture the outcome. Really feel the satisfaction, the pride, the relief, the genuine joy that comes with it. Your brain encodes emotional experiences more deeply than purely cognitive ones, and that emotional anchor makes the visualization stick and keeps it motivating. Practice it consistently. Think of it as mental training. Just as real athletes train their physical responses, you are training your mental ones. A few minutes in the morning or before bed is a great place to start. Pair visualization with affirmations. As you picture yourself succeeding, Reinforce it with statements like, "I am capable and prepared," or "I have what it takes to make this happen." The combination of vivid imagery and deliberate self-affirmation creates a powerful feedback loop. Then act. Visualization without action is just daydreaming. Use your mental rehearsal to identify the specific steps you need to take, and then actually take them. The real magic is in combining a mind primed for success with consistent, real-world effort. Chapter 14. Embrace the power of gratitude. Gratitude might be the most underrated tool for mental strength that any of us have access to right now. It is simple, it costs nothing, and its effects on your brain and your overall outlook are genuinely well documented. When you focus on what you are grateful for, your brain releases dopamine and serotonin, the neurotransmitters associated with feeling good, feeling calm, and feeling motivated. Gratitude, practiced consistently, literally rewires your brain toward optimism and resilience over time. The most effective way to build this practice is through a daily gratitude journal. Each day, write down 3 specific things you are grateful for. They do not need to be big. A helpful conversation you had, a meal you actually enjoyed, the fact that you showed up for something hard. Over time, this practice trains your mind to scan for the positive, and what you consistently look for, you tend to find more of. Gratitude is also a powerful reframing tool for challenges. When something goes wrong, try to identify what might still be worth appreciating within it. A difficult experience might be teaching you something important. A setback might be redirecting you somewhere better. This does not mean denying that something is hard. It means refusing to let the hard thing be the only thing you see. Express gratitude to the people in your life too. Let them know specifically what you appreciate about them. A genuine, specific thank you lands very differently than a generic one, and it deepens your relationships in real ways. And extend gratitude to yourself. Recognize your own efforts, your resilience, and the progress you have made. Self-gratitude is not arrogance. It is an accurate acknowledgement of the work you have genuinely put in. Chapter 15. Cultivate self-belief to unlock your true potential. Self-belief is the engine underneath everything else covered in this audiobook. Without it, the best strategies in the world only get you so far. With it, you have the confidence to dream bigger, try harder, and keep going when things get genuinely difficult. And it is a skill, not a personality trait, not something you either happen to have or you do not. A skill, which means it can be deliberately developed by anyone willing to put in the consistent work. Start by reflecting on your past wins. We tend to focus so heavily on what has gone wrong that we often forget the evidence of what has gone right. Take actual time to list moments when you accomplished something meaningful, even something small. Recognize that you have a track record of being capable, even when it does not feel that way in the moment. Use that track record to counter self-doubt when it shows up, because it will. Every time that voice says, "You can't do this," you now have real evidence to reach for. Step outside your comfort zone in progressively bigger ways. Every time you face something that scared you and you do not fall apart. Every time you try something hard and figure it out, you add another real entry to your internal evidence file that you are more capable than you previously thought. Be deliberate about who you spend your time with. The people around you have a genuine impact on how you see yourself. Seek out people who believe in your potential and who challenge you in supportive, encouraging ways. And be patient with yourself through this process. Real, sustainable self-belief is not built overnight. It is built through consistent action, through following through on what you say you will do, through treating yourself with the care and respect you deserve. Chapter 16. Harness the power of focus to achieve your goals. In a world that is constantly competing for your attention, the ability to direct your focus deliberately is one of the most genuinely valuable skills you can develop. It is not just about being productive. It is about channeling your energy toward what actually matters and letting go of what does not. Start by defining your priorities clearly. Without clarity on what matters most, it is incredibly easy to stay busy without making real progress on anything meaningful. Identify your most important goals and break them into specific, actionable steps. That clarity becomes your compass every single day. Design your environment to support focused work. Your surroundings have a significant impact on your ability to concentrate. Eliminate unnecessary distractions. Turn off notifications. Clear your workspace. Reduce background noise. A well-designed environment reduces the constant mental friction that makes staying focused so draining. Use structured time management. Working in focused intervals, say 25 minutes of deep work followed by a short break, helps you maintain real concentration without burning out. Schedule your most demanding work during the hours when your natural energy and mental clarity are at their highest. Learn to say no clearly and without excessive explanation. Every yes to something that does not align with your goals is effectively a no to something that does. Your time and attention are finite. Start treating them that way, and embrace doing one thing at a time. Multitasking feels productive, but consistently reduces the quality of your output and increases mental fatigue. When you give a single task your complete attention, the work is better and you finish faster. Chapter 17. Develop unwavering confidence in uncertain times. Confidence during easy times is not really confidence, it is just comfort. Real confidence is the ability to show up, take action, and trust yourself even when the future is genuinely unclear and the outcome is not guaranteed. Uncertainty is not a problem to solve once and for all. It is a permanent feature of a life that is being fully lived. Accepting that, genuinely, not just intellectually, is the actual foundation of lasting confidence. When you stop waiting for certainty before you act, you start building it through action itself. Preparation is one of the most reliable ways to grow confidence. The more thoroughly prepared you are for something, the more capable you naturally feel walking into it. Research, practice, seek feedback, rehearse. You cannot control every outcome, but you can absolutely control how ready you are to meet whatever shows up. Your self-talk matters more than most people realize. Replace "I'm not ready for this" with "I've prepared as well as I can, and I'll figure out the rest." Replace "What if I fail" with "What will I learn from this?" The internal dialogue you consistently maintain directly affects how you show up in the world. Reflect on past experiences where you navigated real difficulty and came out the other side stronger. You have done hard things before. That is actual evidence. Keep a record of it and revisit it whenever doubt starts to creep in. And stay flexible. Real confidence is not about rigidly sticking to a plan. It is about trusting that you can adapt intelligently when the plan needs to change. That adaptability, rooted in genuine self-trust, is what makes confidence real and durable over time. Chapter 18. Master the Art of Letting Go. Some of the most mentally exhausting things we carry are things we are actively choosing to hold on to. Old mistakes, old resentments, unmet expectations, the need to control outcomes we genuinely cannot control. Letting go is not giving up. It is the deliberate decision to stop wasting your energy on what you cannot change, so that you can direct it toward what you actually can. The first step is identifying what you are holding on to that no longer serves you. A grudge, a version of yourself you feel guilty about, a relationship that has genuinely run its course, a goal that no longer fits who you actually are right now. Naming it clearly is where the process begins. Accept what cannot be changed. This is not about approving of something painful or pretending it did not hurt. It is about stopping the exhausting internal war against a reality that already exists. Acceptance does not mean you are okay with what happened. It means you choose to stop fighting it and start deciding what comes next. Forgiveness is a central part of this, and it is primarily something you do for yourself, not for the person who hurt you. Holding on to resentment keeps you connected to the very pain you want to escape. Letting it go does not excuse what happened. It frees you from continuing to pay the cost of carrying it. Release the need to control what is genuinely outside your control. Your thoughts, your actions, your attitude. Those are yours. Other people's choices, unpredictable outcomes, how things ultimately turn out. Those are not. Redirecting your energy accordingly is one of the most liberating things you can do for your own mental health. Mindfulness supports letting go by bringing you back to the present. Most of what we cannot release lives in the past or in the imagined future. The present moment is where relief is actually available. Return to it, again and again. Chapter 19. Build meaningful relationships to strengthen your inner resilience. You cannot build genuine mental strength in isolation. Human beings are fundamentally wired for connection, and the quality of your relationships has a direct and measurable impact on your emotional well-being, your resilience, and your ability to thrive. Meaningful relationships are not about having a large social network. They are about depth, authenticity, and mutual care, and they require real, intentional effort to build and genuinely maintain. Start with self-awareness. Authentic connection begins with knowing yourself, your values, your needs, your limits. When you are clear on who you are and what you need, you can build relationships that align with your true self, rather than ones that quietly drain you. Practice real listening, not just waiting for your turn to speak. Actually listening. Give people your full attention. Ask thoughtful follow-up questions. Show genuine curiosity about what they are experiencing. This kind of attention is rare, and people feel it deeply when they encounter it. Be willing to be vulnerable. True connection requires letting people see you, including the parts of yourself that feel uncertain or imperfect. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the actual foundation of trust and real intimacy. Set and respect boundaries. Healthy relationships require mutual respect for each person's limits. Communicating your own boundaries clearly and honoring the limits of others prevents the kind of quiet resentment that erodes connection over time. Show gratitude regularly. Tell people what they mean to you, specifically and sincerely. Small, consistent gestures of genuine appreciation do more for relationship quality than grand, occasional ones. Handle conflict with a resolution mindset. Focus on understanding the other person's perspective. Look for common ground. Conflict handled well can actually strengthen a relationship. Conflict avoided or handled poorly tends to slowly break it. Chapter 20. Unlock the power of purpose to drive your life forward. Purpose is the deepest source of mental strength available to any human being. It is what keeps you going when everything in you wants to quit. It gives meaning to difficulty, direction to ambition, and coherence to the thousands of small daily decisions that together add up to an entire life. And it is available to everyone, not just the people who seem to have everything figured out. Finding your purpose starts with honest self-reflection. What brings you genuine joy? What kind of problems are you naturally drawn to solve? What would you regret not having tried? What do you want your impact on the people around you to actually look like? These are not questions to answer quickly. They are questions to sit with over time, returning to them as you change and as you grow. Your purpose does not need to be grand or globally significant. For some people, it involves making a large-scale impact. For others, it is about being a deeply present parent, creating something meaningful, or helping people feel less alone in the world. What matters is that it is genuinely and authentically yours. Once you have named your purpose, align your daily actions with it. Purpose without action is just a feeling. Break it into specific goals. Build habits that reflect it consistently. Learn to say no to the things that regularly pull you away from it. Expect discomfort along the way. Pursuing what genuinely matters to you will require real courage, because it involves real risk. When fear shows up, reconnect with your why. Revisit what you are building and why it matters. That reconnection is usually enough to take the next step forward. Surround yourself with people who understand and support what you are trying to do. Not everyone will, and that is completely fine. What matters is that the people closest to you are genuinely in your corner. Conclusion. Mental strength is not a destination you arrive at once and then stay. It is a practice, one that gets deeper, richer, and more reliable the longer you genuinely commit to it. Over the course of this audiobook, we have covered 20 principles, from reprogramming your mindset to aligning with your purpose, from building resilience to fostering meaningful connection. These are not ideas to understand once and set aside. They are practices to return to apply in real situations, and to refine over time as you grow. At the center of all of it is one truth. You have more capacity than you currently believe. Your limits are not fixed. They are responsive. They expand when you push against them with intention and consistency. The challenges will keep coming. That is not a flaw in the system. That is the system. And mental strength is what you bring to meet those challenges, not the absence of fear or doubt, but the presence of something stronger than both. Start where you are. Use what you have. Trust the process. And show up for yourself again and again, because that is exactly how the strongest version of you gets built. And that is a wrap on Become Mentally Strong. 20 chapters built to help you think more clearly, show up more consistently, and build a life that actually reflects who you are and who you are becoming. If this gave you something real today, a shift in perspective, a tool you can actually use, a reminder you needed to hear, go ahead and hit that like button. It takes 2 seconds, and it genuinely helps more people find this content who need it. Share it with someone in your life who could use a mental reset. And if you have not already, subscribe to the channel. We put out audiobooks and content like this regularly, designed to help you grow practically, not just theoretically. Drop a comment and tell me, which chapter hit you the hardest today? I read them all. Keep going, keep growing, and remember, you get stronger every single time you choose to.